As the two lions draw closer, keeper Karel Geurts keeps a watchful eye. One of them is Masrya, a lioness who endured a life as a caged promotional tool under her former owner's cruelty. The other is Nero, a 4-month-old lion cub who once belonged to a circus. Longing for companionship, they approach each other, but little did anyone anticipate the remarkable turn of events that would unfold. This initial meeting took place in early 2013, but the story of Masriya and Nero was a long time in the making. In fact, it is still being told today. It all started, however, when someone spotted a then unknown lioness caged at the side of a busy road. Still, it wasn't until this lioness had arrived at a lion foundation called Stichting Leeuw, which is located in the Netherlands, that somebody named her Masrya. And she had made her way to Stichting Leeuw after a long journey from Egypt. Yes, it was in Egypt that Masrya had spent the early part of her life as a pet. Then, a street trader purchased her, and this trader subsequently used her as seemingly little more than a promotional tool and photography prop for his services. Indeed, someone declawed the poor lioness to allow tourists to pose with her for souvenir photographs. And when Masrya grew too large to handle, her owner restricted her to a tiny cage. In fact, Masrya spent the majority of her time in that cage, until she was around 2 years old. Worse, her owner kept her on display outside a shop in Cairo. Masriya's life changed, however, after a German woman named Saskia Berendt saw her on the busy street. Yes, Berendt took a photo of Masrya in August 2012, but this was not a keepsake. In fact, Berendt shared the photo of the caged lioness online. Berendt then began a petition to help free Masrya. Moreover, this act drew the attention of UK-based organization Spots and Stripes Conservation, and it assisted with the fundraising. In February 2013, the organization even helped purchase Masrya from her owner. And with the help of KLM Airlines and the Netherlands Zoo Logistics, it aided in transferring her to Stichting Leeuw, which means Lion Foundation in Dutch. Many of the cats at Stichting Leeuw come from countries that have recently enacted a law banning the use of wild animals in circuses, but getting them there can be tricky. Some circuses, for instance, fight such laws, as was the case with this mountain lion, which was eventually rescued from a Peruvian circus. But more often, there is a sudden influx of big cat rescues needing a home. Sadly, many of these cats share similar stories of mistreatment to Masrya's. Indeed, when Masrya arrived at Stichting Leeuw, she could barely walk. Understandably, she was severely weakened from living in a cramped cage and eating a diet lacking in red meat. Furthermore, Masrya could no longer survive in the wild on her own because of her declawing. In fact, declawing is one of the most common reasons why circus cats need sanctuary and cannot return to the wild. After all, they can no longer hunt successfully, and staff will need to give them food for the rest of their lives. But luckily for this lioness, the goal of Stichting Leeuw is to provide big cats shelter and care for as long as they need. So things finally began to look up for Masrya. Yes, in the Netherlands, sanctuary staff treated the lioness with dignity, and she had a spacious enclosure with a garden to enjoy. Masrya could even go outside and roll in the dirt. Perhaps best of all, though, once she arrived at Stichting Leeuw, Masrya found a lifelong companion in a young lion cub. It came about because the sanctuary placed Masrya in an adjacent enclosure to Nero. The young cub had arrived 2 months earlier, having been rescued from a French circus. Moreover, Nero had been taken from his mother and served as a petting cub for a circus sideshow. And like Masrya, Nero too had been used as a prop in tourist photographs. In fact, the cub had been born into a circus life, and that was all he knew. And this was despite the French circus that had used his mom in an act having already stopped its lion show before he was born. Still, the circus soon sold the lioness' only surviving cub to another circus. And all of this, amazingly, happened before Nero had even turned 4 months old. Like Masrya, then, the cub had spent most of his days in a cramped cage, except when someone wanted to take a picture with him. One day, though, a concerned citizen called the Lion Foundation to report Nero's mistreatment. As a result, Nero was rescued shortly thereafter and brought to Stichting Leeuw, where he met Masrya. And fortunately for all, it was immediately clear that Masrya and Nero enjoyed each other's company. In fact, they even started playing and interacting through the fence separating them. This is why employees at Stichting Leeuw decided to pair the two up in an enclosure together. And heartwarmingly, the lions bonded quickly, and they haven't left each other's side since. Indeed, Masrya became something of a mother figure to young Nero, and Nero was a companion to the lioness. For example, the two played together, slept together, and learned from each other. It could therefore have been a stumbling block in their relationship when Stichting Leeuw eventually decided that it was time for Masrya to return to her native Africa. But by then, Masrya and Nero were a package deal, so the two made the move together. Yes, in May 2015, Masrya and Nero took the journey together to the eMystery Big Cat Sanctuary in South Africa. This haven for lions recently also took in 33 rescued circus lions. eMystery is located on the Geurts family's private Bahati estate. In fact, Savannah Geurts started the sanctuary when she was only 16 years old. The first cat arrived at the sanctuary in June 2013, and many more have followed. In May 2016, for instance, eMystery Big Cat Sanctuary agreed to take in 33 rescued cats from South America. In fact, eMystery partnered with Animal Defenders International, ADI, to successfully carry out the biggest animal airlift to date to bring the cats to South Africa. Spanning 5,000 hectares of land, eMystery is now home to more than 42 big cats, including 40 lions and 2 Siberian tigers. The cats live in semi-wild enclosures, giving them ample space to roam in a natural habitat. And within the reserve are mountainous regions, sweeping grassland and river gorges, according to eMystery's website. Masrya and Nero had a long journey ahead of them to reach the rippling fields of eMystery, however. First, Stichting Leeuw staff had to coax the two lions into specialized animal carriers. These then carried them to the airport and then all the way to Johannesburg, South Africa. From Johannesburg, Masrya and Nero traveled to the Valwater region of Limpopo Province, South Africa. Finally, they arrived at the eMystery Big Cat Sanctuary and tentatively took their first steps out of their carriers onto the soil of their new vast enclosure. And Facebook photos show the pair being quite content in their new home. After all, the sanctuary now gives her and Nero a place in which to grow in their natural habitat. We followed Masriya's story from day one, and she was the lioness who inspired us to do what we do, said Minionette Geurts, co-founder of eMystery Sanctuary, in an interview with the Dodo. Imagine our surprise and delight when, years later, the very same lioness with her new partner came into our care. Now free to explore their surroundings, the two lions find joy in their newfound freedom and engage in playful antics. Their bond remains unbreakable, as they remain inseparable companions. However, Nero has undergone a remarkable transformation since his days as a small cub. He has grown into a majestic lion, displaying a regal presence adorned with a graceful flowing mane. This incredible journey of growth and transformation would not have been attainable without the compassionate individuals dedicated to improving the lives of animals like them, working tirelessly to create a better world. I hope you liked this video. Please give us a thumbs up and share it with your loved ones. Also subscribe and press the bell icon to never miss the update from our channel. Thank you.